Adrian Cole, the billionaire whose empire stretched across finance, technology, and real estate, had never thought much about the people who served him inside his palatial mansion. He was a man consumed by numbers, contracts, and boardroom wars, his life reduced to a rhythm of profit margins and corporate battles, leaving little room for curiosity about the invisible figures who dusted his chandeliers or polished his marble floors. Yet fate has a strange way of breaking through the walls even the wealthiest men build, and it happened on an ordinary night when Adrian found himself restless, unable to sleep despite the silk sheets and quiet hum of the city beyond his estate. Wandering through the hallways, he noticed a faint light glowing under the door of one of the servant quarters, unusual because his staff usually retired early after long hours of work, and curiosity led him closer until the sound of hurried scribbles on paper and whispered words reached his ears. He paused, frowning, then gently pushed the door open only to be met with a sight that froze him in place. His maid, Elena, the quiet young woman who had been working silently in his house for months, sat bent over a cluttered desk, her face illuminated by the warm glow of a small lamp, thick books stacked around her like walls, her hands moving swiftly across notebooks filled with notes, diagrams, and formulas. It was not the idle doodling of a bored girl but the disciplined focus of someone chasing something larger than themselves, and for a moment Adrian felt as though he were intruding on a sacred ritual. When she realized his presence, Elena gasped, jumping to her feet and fumbling to hide the papers, her cheeks burning as she stammered, "I'm sorry, sir, I'll put this away immediately. I wasn't neglecting my duties, I promise," her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and shame. Adrian, however, didn't raise his voice or scold her as she expected. Instead he asked in a calm but curious tone, "What are you doing at this hour?" And when she hesitated, biting her lip as though afraid of being mocked, he stepped closer, his sharp eyes landing on the open textbooks labeled with medical terminology, anatomy charts, and complex equations. Elena's silence cracked, and she admitted in a low voice that she was studying for medical entrance exams that she had always dreamed of becoming a doctor, but life had forced her into work when her father died, leaving her family with crushing debts and a sick mother who depended on her income. She confessed she took the maid job in his mansion to keep food on the table and medicine in her mother's reach, but her nights were spent secretly studying, fighting exhaustion, and hoping that one day she could pass the exams, secure a scholarship, and carve a different life. Adrian listened, and for the first time in years, he felt something shift in his chest, a faint echo of the ambition he once carried as a young man before success numbed him. Here was a girl with nothing, burning herself alive with effort, refusing to surrender her dream even when the world forced her into servitude, and he could not look away. "Show me," he said simply, gesturing to the books, and though her hands shook, Elena obeyed, nervously explaining chapters she had memorized, sketching diagrams of the human heart and recounting medical terms with surprising fluency, her voice steadying the more she spoke, her passion shining through the exhaustion. Adrian sat silently, watching, realizing that beneath her maid's uniform lived a mind and spirit far greater than the world had ever given her credit for. And when he finally left her that night, he did not return to his bed with thoughts of business or wealth, but with the haunting image of a young woman burning midnight oil against all odds, and in his heart, though he didn't admit it yet, the seed of change had been planted.